Alex Aguirre. I can't see. I can't tell who else is on the screen if we raise your hand.
Okay, yes, Alex, what do you got?
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I'm at the detention center right now. Your Honor, I guess they're the first two cases on the court's docket. Jail cases.
Garcia?
Yes, Your Honor. It's a DWI and an assault.
Okay.
Your Honor, on the assault case, I believe the victim has gone in there and talked to the DA's office. I believe they did an affidavit already. I have not received anything as far as the DWI. So respectfully, I'll just ask for a little bit more time. Also for the
Judge, this is a case, this individual has an ICE hold. Our recommendation on the DWI is time served, given that ICE hold and given the amount of time that he has spent in custody. We also do have an A&P, and we've already taken the victim testimony. So once we get the paperwork for the DWI, then we'll dispose of both cases at the same time. I think that's just the easier route to go.
I had not seen any paperwork for the DWI. Could you resend that? Because I've been trying to get a hold of this guy also, Judge. He's in Stark County. And I've had like the last 2 or 3 days trying to get a hold of him, and I don't get a call back. So I'm not sure how that worked.
I'll resend that paperwork, Alex.
I appreciate it.
All right. Do you want me
Judge,
to reset this for next Thursday or next Tuesday?
If we could try for Thursday, Judge, if I get it done sooner, do you think I can move it up?
Sure. February 3rd.
Judge.
February 3rd at 2:30. And if you can move it up to the 1st, let us know.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, at 2 o'clock. February 3rd.
2 o'clock. All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you're excused.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Alvarez, what do you have?
Yes, Your Honor. I have 2 cases before the Honorable Court today. One of them is Rogelio Gonzalez, CR-21-02855-H.
Rogelio Gonzalez, number 14. All right, that was going to be a PTD placement.
Yes, Judge. I'm not sure if it's ready. I just need a little bit more time, Judge. I was retained in this case.
Okay, how much time do you need?
The court can give us 30 days. It'd be great.
And you want me to set it up for a PTD placement in 30 days?
If the court could do that.
Okay, I can give you February 24th, if that's okay.
That would be perfect, Your Honor.
February 24th, 2022 at 2 o'clock.
Yes, Judge. And I also have February 24th. I also have Sergio Villegas.
All right, that's number 27, CR 21-09154H. I have a note here. First motion for continuance was granted on the 18th of this year, and defendant must be present here today. Is Sergio Villegas present? Sergio Villegas, if you're on mute, please unmute yourself. Sergio Villegas. Travis, it doesn't look like Mr. Sergio Villegas is present, and there was already a motion for continuance used. Have you had contact with him?
Yes, Judge. My staff spoke with him on 1/18, the day last time we were in court, to let him know of the court date of today, and he stated he will be coming into our office, and he has not come to our office, Your Honor.
All right. That being the case, what does the state?
The state requested a judgment in ICE be granted. KP is issued. All bonds forfeited for this nurse defendant.
Judgment in ICE be granted. KP is issued. Bond forfeited to the state for the arrest of the defendant, Sergio Villegas.
That will conclude my business with this honorable court. May I be excused, Your Honor?
You're excused. Thank you.
Be safe, Your Honor.
You too. Ms. Holmes, what do you have? You have Reynaldo Hernandez?
Your Honor,
I'm
that's
sorry.
correct. Judge number 3 on your docket.
All right, that's CR 22-00487H, State of Texas versus Reynaldo Hernandez.
He's a Spanish-speaking individual, Your Honor.
Thank you, sure. All right, your announcement.
Is it my? Okay. Judge, my understanding is he is in Stark County.
No, he looks to be in Hidalgo County.
He was brought from Stark County. He's here right now for the court.
Yeah, so he was brought over from Stark County, Ms. Holmes. If you can hear me, I know you're having some problems with your audio and video. All right, I just lost Ms. Holmes. We'll wait for her to log back on. Oh, I'm sorry. There you are. Okay. I'm having some trouble with your with your video. Ms. Holmes, can you hear us? And you're on mute right now, by the way.
Yeah. I'm back. I don't know if Mr. Hernandez is on the screen. When I spoke with him, he was in Starr County.
All right, he is present, he is on the screen, and he is here in Hidalgo County now.
Okay, we were set for a hearing this morning, or this afternoon. My guess is it's 4. And we haven't received any discovery yet or a recommendation.
Go ahead.
The reason I haven't sent a recommendation on this case is I'm trying to figure out with intakes because it's classified as a DWI second. However, when I go into this individual's history, I don't see any prior arrest. And on the complaint, it states that his first DWI was in 2021 in Hidalgo County in County Court 2. If that were the case, and it would still show up on his previous attorney cases, and I don't see that on there. So I'm trying to figure out whether it's a DWI first or a DWI second. And at that point, whether if we have to refile, then we'll have to refile. But I didn't want to send a recommendation that includes DWI second conditions if it's not a DWI second.
Okay, well, he is in custody. Give me an idea as to what you all suggest. Reset for next week?
Either reset for next week, Judge, or depending on whether he has good contact with his defense attorney, I wouldn't have a issue with a bond, given that these are his only 2 alleged cases, but I would defer to the court, Judge.
Ms. Holmes?
Well, Judge, obviously I'd ask for a PR bond at this time or a low bond. He is in Starr County. He's been there, as far as I know, since January 11th of 2022.
Mr. Hernandez, does he have any immigration hold? No,
I don't see any, Judge.
I don't believe so.
And he's currently sitting on a $10,000 cash or surety bond. This is his second DWI. How long ago was the first?
Judge, he doesn't show a DWI. I don't know.
Gotcha. All right. So I know that typically in these situations like this, Jose, was there any circumstances behind this DWI in terms of accident?
It's an alleged single vehicle accident, Judge.
Gotcha. Okay, and Ms. Holmes, you're requesting a bond reduction?
Yes,
Oral request for bond reduction?
that's correct, Judge.
Do we have any information about where he lives? Is he working? Where does he work? Things like that, or would you? I could place him under oath. He's on the screen, Ms. Holmes.
There is a mission address for him, Judge.
If you need to place him under oath,
You're okay with that?
yes.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, do you speak English?
Hernández, ¿habla inglés?
Sí, sí puedo hablar inglés también.
Yes, I can speak English.
Pero es que entiendo los dos.
I understand both.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, can I have you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Is your true and correct name Reynaldo Hernandez?
yes,
Mr. Hernandez, you currently are, let me ask you this question. Are you a U.S. citizen?
yes, sir.
All right, and you currently live where, sir?
Right now, 8306 Nadia Street, Mission, Texas, 78574.
And who do you live there with?
My girlfriend.
Your girlfriend, okay? And how long have you lived at that address?
A year and 2 months.
Do you have any children?
Yeah, I have one.
One, how old?
She's 10 years old.
Okay. And do you support that child? Do you live with that child?
I don't live with her, but I support her.
Okay. How do you support her? Financially?
Yeah, I pay.
Okay. And do you work?
I work right now at a Woodcraft as a distribution for a Home Depot, Lowe's.
What do you do there?
It's a distribution.
Okay. Yeah, but what do you do there specifically?
They import pallets of sinks or
Yes, but what do you do while you're there? Do you help unload the pallets? Do you?
yeah, I help unload or yeah, help unload.
Okay. And how long?
Unload or load.
Okay. And how long have you worked there?
I've been working there for 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, but I was working Villarreal paving and demolition for like 6 months already.
Okay.
This is my new job I really got.
Do you have any family besides your girlfriend that lives in the county?
Not here. I'm Bronzeville.
Brownsville. So your family lives lives in Brownsville.
Yes.
If I were to order that you remain in the county, would that be a problem for you?
Huh?
If I were to order that you remain in Hidalgo County, would that be a problem for you?
Nah. My girl lives in Mission, so.
Let me do this. Let me, Ms. Holmes, if it's okay with you, I'm gonna go ahead and issue a $2,500 PR bond with AIP as a condition, okay? Until we figure out what the situation with Mr. Garcia. The moment we figure it out, Mr. Garcia, if it shouldn't be a second, I'm gonna drop the AIP condition, but for now, I'm gonna keep it, okay?
Judge, what about the mobile device? I'm more concerned about the mobile device, given that it was an accident, as opposed to the AIP, respectfully, of course.
Right. All right, $2,500 PR bond with AIP and a mobile device. Reset date for Ms. Holmes, what do you think in terms of a reset date? Late February, you think?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, February 24th, 2022 at 2 o'clock. I'm sure, Victoria, you need a phone number for the AIP?
No, Judge, since he'll be released to AIP personnel.
Perfect. How do we go about the mobile device? I want to make sure that he has it installed within 7 days.
Okay, we'll put that on the order, Judge, and AIP will provide him the vendor list.
Perfect. Okay, Ms. Holmes, anything else?
That's all I have.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, the court's gonna go ahead and grant you a PR bond. However, you're gonna be under home confinement, okay? And the court is gonna order that you have a mobile device. All right? And Mr. Garcia, you're gonna do some homework.
Yes, Judge, I'll get on it as soon as we get done with docket. I just need to check his TCIC and CIC because it was, I guess, alarming or not alarming, but it did throw up a red flag when I saw that it was a DWI second and the complaint states that his first was in 2021 out of County Court 2 in Hidalgo County. That obviously, if that was the case, it would show up on Odyssey and I didn't see it anywhere.
Okay. All right, Mr. Hernandez, stay in contact with Ms. Holmes, okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Thank
You're
you.
both are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, Ms. Gutierrez, you have CR 22002224H as well as CR 22002223H, State of Texas versus Angel Ponce.
Yes, Your Honor, he's in custody.
All right. To reduce bond.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a continuation of our motion to reduce bond that I urged last week. However, Mr. Garcia stated that Mr. Ponce does have an ICE hold. I confirmed that. And that also he mentioned the fact that Mr. Ponce had priors, one being a sexual assault. But I just want the court to know that that was a 2013 case that he took to trial and he was acquitted. And then failure to ID, I believe, was dismissed, and it was an assault that he received 20 days TDC, Hidalgo County time for. And so that's the extent of his priors. He does have an ICE hold, but we're asking for the opportunity for him for his bond to be reduced at whatever the court believes would be reasonable. Right now, his bond stands at $2,500 cash surety for the DWI and $5,000 cash surety for the evading arrest.
And what do you, in speaking with your client, what do you think he would be able to make if the court were to reduce it to something other than a PR bond?
Your Honor, I believe that that they would be able to make a $2,000 bond on the evading and $1,000 on the DWI.
Okay. What's the position of the state if we were to reduce the 5,000 down to 2,000 and the $2,500 down to 1,000?
Judge,
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I did want to say to the court that I'm basing that on the 10%. So if the court went ahead and reduced it to those amounts and the bondsman required the entire amount, I don't know that his family would be able to get him out.
Gotcha. So
Judge,
that would be 300, which is typically a minimum that the bondsmen charge anyway, right?
Right, but because of the ICE hold, they might require more.
Gotcha.
Sir, I cannot, I already have 18 days. No me puedes sentenciar.
I would have to put you in a breakout room so you can visit with Ms. Gutierrez about that. I can do that right now.
Pues, yo sé que lo mío es una borrachera que, pero no, o sea, yo me paré, sí, yo me asusté y corrí, pero pues, me cansé y me tiré, no peleé con el policía. No sé si me puede dar 30 días por todo.
Your Honor, and I can say this in Spanish so my client can hear and understand me, but I don't have any reports. I have no discovery. I really do not have the ability to consult my client one way or another at this time. Señor Ponce, no tengo nada de los reportes, no le pudiera dar consejo basado en
Y me salgo bien feo venir para acá desde allá, desde la mañana. Yo entiendo que cometí algo mal, pero es algo horrible. No, hombre, te traen, que ya se entendí los días que me van a dar los problemas. No quiero dar para aquí para abajo. Son 18 días.
If I could get a commitment, Your Honor, from the state to get the discovery shortly, maybe if the court can reset it for next week, we might be able to do.
No quiero venir ya. Yo siento que con 30 días es suficiente. Sí, es un dicho, me paré, me bajé y todo, no peleé con el policía, no le corrí cuando me cansé, me tiré al piso, no forcejé con él en un momento. No, ya no quiero venir para acá, hombre, desde allá, para acá. Yo entiendo que cometí un error, así lo explico y todo, pero como le vuelvo a repetir, sé que es algo, cometí un error, pero no es tan grave como para que venir para atrás con 30 días. Yo pienso que es suficiente, señor juez. ¿Puede hacer eso?
Your Honor, at this time, he has 20, he doesn't have 20 days, he has 18 days.
that's what I was showing, Judge. But at any rate, my proposal is going to be the same as Ms. Gutierrez, Judge. Let me send over discovery after docket. I can get her both either, if we have the full discovery, I'll send her the full discovery, but if not, I'll send her at minimum the jail packet so that she can review. And given the ICE hold, I don't have an issue with a straight judgment recommendation on the DWI dismissing the evading. And if they agree to a plea deal, then we obviously go forward with the plea. If they don't agree to a plea deal, then at that point we cross that bridge when we get there.
I don't have a problem with that in speaking with him and in listening to him more than speaking to him. In listening to him, it seems like he wants to, he accepts responsibility and he wants out. I don't have a problem with that. Let me reset this case for Tuesday and let Ms. Gutierrez visit with him. I mean, if it's something that he wants.
30 days, I mean, with 30 days, I think it's fair. I mean, it's full. I mean, the county is full.
Okay.
I understand y cometí un error, lo reconozco, pero no es para tanto. O sea, con 30 days me fue suficiente. Tengo gente que hacer people that work for me.
Okay, Mr. Ponce, while I'm hearing you and I understand what you're requesting, the problem is that while you would want for me to sentence you today, I can't do it today because I don't have the paperwork. Right? So what has to happen is Ms. Gutierrez needs to get the paperwork from the DA and then go visit with you. And if you're amenable to pleading guilty to one or both of these offenses, she still needs to sign the documents. Yeah, she still needs to sign the documents. And the documents need to be executed and signed and returned to the clerk. And I don't have that, so I can't. Tuesday.
Thank you, sir.
All right. The first, Ms. Gutierrez.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, at 2:00.
Thank you. I have nothing further before this honorable court. May I be excused?
You're excused. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. So we're taking no action on the bond on that one. We've set it for Tuesday. Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. What case do you have?
This is State of Texas versus Jaime Jesus Gonzalez, CR 21-03439-H. It's a status
And is she online?
No, no, Your Honor, he's
I'm sorry.
indigent and he does not have a phone to communicate with on Zoom. I spoke to his girlfriend and she informed me of all this. We have a recommendation that he just needs to take a drug education class and come out clean on a drug test and for a dismissal. So we're asking for some, I'd say like maybe 30 days to see if we can complete the recommendation.
Okay, I'm hearing you. The only question is whether or not we're just kicking the ball down the field 30 days and he's gonna do it because he's homeless, doesn't have an address, hasn't called in. You have no way of contacting him unless you can, as an officer of the court, you're telling me I have communication with him, Judge, and I will tell him to do it and we'll get it done for 30 days. Or am I just kicking the can down the street?
Judge,
Yes, Your Honor.
if I may, and I don't want to speak for Mr. Garcia, obviously, but I have been in contact with Mr. Garcia regarding this matter. Every time he calls, he states that part of the issue was that his client couldn't afford the class. I did find an online class that I believe should be economically or should help his client economically. I wouldn't be in opposition, maybe not to 30 days, Judge, but maybe a 2-week reset to see where we're at. But I have been in contact with Mr. Garcia regarding this matter, and every time he states that he did discuss with his client, I think that was just the biggest issue is he couldn't afford the $65 class originally.
Okay.
That is correct, Your Honor.
So you do have communication with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Let me go ahead and give you some time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let me go ahead and give you, how about February 17th? Is that okay?
That's fine, Your Honor.
February 17th, 2022 at 2 o'clock.
Yes, Your Honor. Hopefully we'll have it resolved by then.
And I'm going to go ahead and do a motion for continuance number 1, granted, so that he does have to show up, and that triggers my staff to put it on the notes. And that way we can go ahead and work from there.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have anything else, Mr. Garcia?
That's all I have, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Your excuse. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Mr. Alvarez, do you happen to have a plea or an announcement?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes. Hi. Number 25 and 26, Joshua Shelton.
All right, number 2526, CR 2109-060H and CR 1913-142H, Joshua Ryan Shelton.
Your Honor, I'm not sure if the court remembers. This is a case we were here sometime, I believe in November or October, where the court offered my client, if he signed away the plea papers, we didn't have to come to court on Monday. We executed the paperwork. I thought I had submitted it to the prosecutor. And then we never got set. And then my client was informed by the bail bondsman that we didn't show up to court and a warrant had been issued. So what I've done since then, I filed the plea paperwork that I sent to the prosecutor back in October or November. And we're here for a plea and would also like to recall the NISI if possible.
Okay, yeah, as soon as I take care of the plea, the NISI will automatically get recalled. So is that going to be a plea then on both cases?
I think the agreement was that he pleads to one and the other one is dismissed.
Okay, perfect. So DWI going to plead to the DWI and the POCS is going to get dismissed. Awesome. All right, so that takes care of that one. It's a non-jail. Do we have any other pleas? Anyone else is going to be a plea today? Mr. Guerra?
Yes, Your Honor. I have number 2, 22, 23, and 24. Desiree Sepulveda.
Sepulveda. All right, Desiree Sepulveda. I do see her there. And what's your announcement for this one, Mr. Guerra?
It's going to be a plea, Judge.
Okay, and are we going to plea on all three?
Not the POM.
Not the
one of them's going to be dismissed. Yes.
POM dismissed. Gotcha. And she's going to plead to the other two.
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect. All right. And who else am I missing? Mr. Alvarez, Juan Alvarez. Mr. Rogers, who do you have?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Number 15, Justin Harris.
All right, and is that going to be a PTD placement? That's what my notes are showing.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, perfect. PTD placement.
And on that one, Judge, just a heads up, we will be requesting, per Daniel Gonzalez, we are requesting a 3-month status date, given some issues that we've had with him while on bond. We just want to make sure that he's compliant with the program 3 months in, Judge.
All right, status in 3 months. Jack, can you give me a status in 3 months? It's Justin Harris, number 15. Give me 1 second. I'll give you that date right now so we can get that out of the way.
And Your Honor, if I may just, that would be just to see what his progress is in the program?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be April 26th, 2022 at 9:30. But I'll give you that date again. I'm just writing it down now, getting all my ducks in a row. Okay, anybody else have a plea that I'm missing? I know I have like Jose. Let's see here.
Judge, just so that she's not on, I know Ms. Lina Ramirez is represented by Attorney Savannah Gonzalez. I did send over a deferred rec. However, it was my fault, Judge. I thought I had sent over paperwork with the email, and I never actually sent the paperwork with it. So I know that that's not going to be a plea today, and I don't want to keep her
Waiting.
on for the rest of the Zoom hearing if she doesn't have to.
All right, Ms. Ramirez, can I go ahead and just reset you for 1 week to next Thursday, and that way you don't have to wait any longer?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Let me reset you for next Thursday, I'm sorry, which would be February the 3rd. February 3rd, 2022 at 2 o'clock, okay?
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
I can be dismissed,
Yes, you're dismissed.
right? All right, thank you.
All right. What about, I have a Jose Perez, that's Reggie's, right?
Yes, Judge. I didn't receive any paperwork from him. Or for him, rather.
Mr. Perez, can you hear me? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Perez, have you spoken to Ms. Richardson?
I just talked to her secretary.
All right, and so we haven't received any information, any paperwork, Mr. Garcia?
No, Judge. I don't know if he signed any paperwork already.
Is that like I told her, I told her secretary, but they haven't given my car back from the auto shop. So I haven't got chance to go to her office, but she sent it to me through my my Gmail. And I have it there, but I don't know to sign it, or she told me to wait. The secretary told me to wait.
Okay, let me do this, Mr. Perez, so that you're not waiting. I'm gonna go ahead and reset this case for 2 weeks. So
Okay, by any chance, is that I was reading the paperwork and all that, and they said that they were gonna give me classes and something else, but what is the classes for?
Well, speak with your attorney, and then she can make whatever recommendation. She can visit with Mr. Garcia. But she's the one that you need to visit with about that, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna reset this case for February the 15th, all right?
The 15th?
Yes, February 15th.
At the same time?
At 2 o'clock, yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
February 15th, 2022 at 2 o'clock.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, now I just have Mr. Alvarez. Juan Alvarez has is that one of his clients? All right, Mr. Alvarez. Who does he represent?
Me, Your Honor, Joshua Shelton.
No. I have Juan Alvarez. It looks like it's the attorney Juan Alvarez, but he's got somebody there. So then, can I log him off? Okay, let's go ahead and call the following cases. This is the order in which I will be calling them. First case to be called is Justin Anthony Harris. Mr. Harris, you're going to be the first one to answer all my questions, so listen carefully and be ready to mute and unmute yourself so that I can have a response from you, okay? So know how to mute and unmute yourself, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Then we're going to move on to Desiree Sepulveda. Ms. Sepulveda will be the second one to answer all my questions. Ms. Sepulveda, you're currently on mute, so just know how to mute and unmute yourself. And finally, Joshua Shelton. Mr. Shelton will be the last one to answer all my questions. Am I missing anyone? I know I have a few other, Rogelio Gonzalez and Leticia Vasquez.
Judge, did Arnulfo Rios get reset? It was a jail case. I don't see his attorney on. And I know we had some issues with the paperwork, Judge. I needed to get in contact with the clerk's office. He didn't check off the citizenship box, but that's the only thing that's pending from a plea on that one. It was going to be a plea to the court given the defendant's priors.
All right. You're going to call Mr. Flores? Give us 1 second. Jackie's going to call the attorney.
Yes, it's because they're just asking on that.
Okay. Sheriff Arnulfo Rios is going to be coming on. His attorney's going to be coming on here shortly. Do you have anyone else there that we can help you with?
Yes, sir. I actually have 3 more individuals.
All right, go ahead.
I have Jose Adrian Garcia, Juan Ricardo Martinez, and Brian Sweeten.
Let's start off with Jose Adrian Garcia. That one's been reset for February the 3rd.
Very well.
At 2 o'clock. And then I believe you said Juan Ricardo Martinez, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
That one has been reset for February the 10th at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And then Sweeten. I don't have a date on him. Give me 1 second.
Yes, sir.
On 2/10, reset for February the 10th.
Okay, the only one will be Arnulfo Rios waiting for his attorney, correct?
Yes, his attorney is logging on right now.
Okay, we'll be here, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What about Leticia Marie Vasquez?
She's the one from this morning, Judge,
And what
with
do we-
the AKA.
Were we going to recall a nice eye, Judge? I don't remember if we called one or not.
Yes, we did ask her to come on this afternoon, right? Okay. All right, Ms. Vasquez, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right, the court's going to go ahead and recall your NISI. There was a warrant that was taken out, but I'm going to recall it at this time, and I'm going to go ahead and give you a reset date. You do need to log on and be in communication with your attorney. The reset date that I'm going to give you is March the 8th, okay? March 8th. And that will be at 9:30 in the morning, okay?
March 8, 9:30.
Yes, ma'am. Okay?
Yes, sir. Another question. Do I still stay with the monitor? I've had it almost for a year.
For the DWI, the answer
I
is,
mean-
well, here's the thing. I have a positive BAC that goes back to December the 14th at 6 o'clock. One positive BAC on that day. So visit with your public defender. Maybe if you dispute that, you can bring it to the court's attention. Obviously, he's not logged on right now. I don't have a problem, obviously, discussing that with him and you. But right now, I'm not going to do that simply because my notes show that you had a positive test on December the 14th. Okay.
I think it's like the only positive test I had. the people from where I go get the monitor told me that it could have been a perfume or a Germix or whatever. At the time I was working. So when I blew, I was at work. So I was just wondering, because sometimes it's hard for me to do the payment because it's another $80, and I live alone, so I have to pay like all my bills and then worry about this. And then I'm on probation right now, so I have to pay all my probation fees, and I have probation for 2 different counties. So it's like, it's kind of hard for me to keep up.
Okay. My advice to you is to visit with your attorney. And if you'd like, I can give you a quicker date. You want me to give you a quicker date so that you can come and maybe we can address that issue sooner?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me do that. So instead of March the 8th, I'm going to go ahead and give you a much sooner date. I'm going to give it to you in February.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and give you February the 3rd. No, not March. February 3rd.
Okay.
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 So February 3rd, stay in contact with your attorney, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Juan Alvarez's client. Somebody at Juan Alvarez's office. Somebody there.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Juan, I'm sorry, there you are. What, who do you have and what do you have so that I can try to resolve it at this time? Okay. He froze. Mr. Flores, you have Arnulfo Rios, correct? And that's going to be a plea?
Yes, Judge. That is correct, Judge.
All right. If I can have Mr. Arnulfo Rios brought up. And Mr. Alvarez, what case do you have? Who do you have? I don't see your.
Sergio Villegas, it was called earlier, Your Honor, and we couldn't find him on screen. Apparently, he was in my office in one of our conference rooms. He was present. And
yes, I saw him there, but nobody ever like unmuted and I didn't know who he was. He is there. I do see him on. Mr. Alvarez, do you just need a reset on this one?
please, Your Honor, if you could.
And how much time do you need?
Whatever date you can give me, Judge. I think you gave me oh God, I don't have my docket with me.
Sometime
30
in March?
days, Judge?
Yeah, I can give you sometime in March.
Perfect.
Yeah. Is this going to be something that you're going to work out by way of a plea, or is it something you're going to work?
I think it's something we can work out, Your Honor.
Let me go ahead and give you March the 10th.
Yes, Your Honor.
March 10th at 2 o'clock. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. March 10th, 2 o'clock.
Thank you. May I be excused?
Yes. Make sure that you let your office know that I'm going to be removing him. Okay. That way they can know.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every schedule me.
No. You're going to be a plea right now, sir.
Okay. Pero me estaba diciendo que no fuera mi celular. Me quería correr para.
Okay, so now the order is going to be Mr. Rios. Arnulfo, you're going to be the first one to answer all my questions. So be ready to listen and answer carefully, okay? Followed by Justin Anthony Harris, then Desiree Sepulveda, and finally Joshua Shelton. That's the order in which I'll be calling cases today. If I can have those of you please raise your right hand. Can I have all of you raise your right hand? Not seeing anyone raise their right hand. All right, Mr. Rios, I need you to raise your right hand. Ms. Sepulveda, I need you to raise your right hand. Do each of you sort of tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I'll start with Arnulfo Rios.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rios?
Yes, sir.
All right, Justin Anthony Harris?
Yes, Your Honor.
Desiree Sepulveda?
Yes, sir.
And finally, Joshua Ryan Shelton.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Y'all may lower your hands. We're here in CR 22-00120H, State of Texas versus Arnulfo Rios. Sir, is that your true and correct name?
Sir, yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rios, you're here before the court charged with the offense of public intoxication with 3 prior convictions. That is a Class B misdemeanor. In
Yes,
just a
sir.
minute, I'll explain to you the range of punishment for a Class B misdemeanor.
Yes, sir.
In CR 21-03-583H, State of Texas versus Justin Anthony Harris. Sir, is that your true and correct name?
Yes.
Mr. Harris, you're here before the
Yes.
court charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated with a VAC greater than a .15. That is a Class A misdemeanor. And in just a minute, I'll explain to you the range of punishment for a Class A misdemeanor. In CR 21-10-119H, as well as CR 21-10-118H, State of Texas versus Desiree Sepulveda. Ma'am, is that your true and correct name?
Yes.
Ms. Sepulveda, you're here before the court charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 3, less than 28 grams, a class A misdemeanor, as well as theft of property, a class B misdemeanor. And in just a minute, I'll explain to you the range of punishment for a class A and class B misdemeanor. In CR 19-13-142H, State of Texas versus Joshua Ryan Shelton. Sir, is that your true and correct name?
Yes.
Mr. Shelton, you're here before the court charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated, a second offense. That is a class A misdemeanor. Let me advise you, Mr. Shelton, as well as Ms. Sepulveda, who has a class A, and Mr. Justin Harris, who has a class A, that class A misdemeanors carry a potential penalty of up to 1 year in the Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine upon conviction. Do you each understand the range of punishment you could receive for a class A misdemeanor? I'll start with Justin Harris.
Yes.
Desiree Sepulveda
Yes, sir.
and Joshua Ryan Shelton.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Sepulveda, you also have a class B misdemeanor, and Mr. Rios, you have a class B misdemeanor. I need to advise both of you that a class B misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 6 months in the Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $2,000 fine upon conviction. Do you both understand the range of punishment you can receive for a class B misdemeanor? I'll start with Mr. Rios.
Yes, Your Honor, I sure do.
And Ms. Sepulveda.
Yes, sir.
All of you have the right to an attorney and all of you have the right to a trial by jury, but you can waive one or both of those rights by signing a document. Did each of you have an opportunity to review a document with your attorney before you signed it? I'll start with Mr. Rios.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris,
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Sepulveda,
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Shelton.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did each of you understand that when you signed that document that you reviewed with your attorney, did you understand that you were waiving your right to a trial by jury? Mr. Rios,
Yes, Your Honor, I sure do.
Mr. Harris,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Sepulveda,
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Shelton.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court's gonna go ahead and accept your waiver of trial by jury. Has any court ever declared you to be mentally incompetent, crazy, or insane? Mr. Rios?
Sir.
Mr. Harris?
No, sir.
Ms. Sepulveda?
No, sir.
And Mr. Shelton?
No, Your Honor.
Counsel, in speaking with your clients, do you find them to be mentally competent, able to assist? I'll start with Mr. Moises Flores. You're on mute, Mr. Flores.
Yes, Judge, based on my conversation with Mr. Rios at Hidalgo County Jail, Your Honor, I do believe that he's competent to proceed with the plea this afternoon, Judge.
Thank you. I'll next move on to Mr. Rogers.
I do believe Mr. Harris is competent, Your Honor.
Mr. Guerra,
Mr. Sepulveda is competent, Your Honor.
and Mr. Oscar Alvarez.
Same announcement, Your Honor.
Court's going to go ahead and make a finding that all the defendants before the court, they're all mentally competent, they're all able to assist their attorneys in their own defense. Do you each understand that if the punishment that I assess, if that punishment does not exceed what is recommended by the state, you will need this court's permission if you decide to file an appeal? Do you understand that, Mr. Rios?
Yes, sir, I sure do, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Harris,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Sepulveda,
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Shelton.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you further understand that the court does not have to accept the recommendation of the state? You understand that, Mr. Rios?
Yes, Your Honor, I sure do.
Harris,
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Sepulveda,
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Alvarez. I'm sorry, Mr. Shelton.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, I must ask each of you, are you U.S. citizens? I'll start with Mr. Rios.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Justin Harris,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Desiree Sepulveda,
Yes, sir.
and finally, Joshua Ryan Shelton.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Arnulfo Rios, to the offense of public intoxication with 3 prior convictions, a Class B misdemeanor, sir. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily, sir?
Yes, I sure do, Your Honor.
Thank you. Justin Anthony Harris, to the offense of driving while intoxicated with a BAC greater than a .15, a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
And are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. In CR 21-10-119H, to the offense of possession of a controlled substance, a Class A misdemeanor. Ms. Sepulveda, how do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in CR 21-10-118H, to the offense of theft of property, a Class B misdemeanor, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Joshua Ryan Shelton, to the offense of driving while intoxicated, a second offense, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty to this Class A misdemeanor freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court's going to go ahead and accept your pleas as being freely and voluntarily given for all of you. And I'll call for state's evidence at this time.
Your Honor, state offers plea documents and office reports as State's Exhibit 1, notification and certification of defendant's right of appeal as State's Exhibit 2, waiver of Article 39.14 disclosures as State's Exhibit 3, waiver of risk and needs assessment as State's Exhibit 4, PTD POM PTD packets as State's Exhibit 5 were applicable. We also request the defense counsel stipulate the venue and jurisdiction of this honorable court, and they further stipulate that all evidence that has been e-filed is sufficient to corroborate today's plea of guilty.
How about Mr. Flores? Sorry,
Yes, Your Honor. As for Mr. Rios, no objection, Your Honor. The defense so agrees and stipulates.
Mr. Rogers.
No objections to the introduction of state's exhibits, and we stipulate jurisdiction venue.
Mr. Guerra.
Same announcement as to Mr. Privilege.
Mr. Oscar Alvarez.
No objection, so stipulated.
There'll be no objection. State's exhibits are all hereby admitted in CR 22-00-120H. State of Texas versus Arnulfo Rios. It is a judgment of the court that you're guilty as charged. What is the recommendation of the state?
Your Honor, on this case, briefly, before I read out the recommendation, I did want to ask, the citizenship box wasn't checked off on the paperwork. And I wanted to ask defense counsel if they would have any objection to the court altering, or I guess checking the box off for him so that there's no issues on the paperwork.
Flores?
Yes, Judge.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Okay, the court will go ahead and sign off or check off on the citizenship question.
Okay, Your Honor, the state's recommendation in this matter is $100 fine, court cost 90 days, Hidalgo County Jail, credit for 12 days, now 23 days served, Judge. And the reason for this recommendation is due to the prior history, Judge. This is an individual, to refresh the court's memory, we had him a few times over the last few months of last year where we time served him all 3 times, and he would pick up another case. The previous cases that he picked up were a criminal trespass that was time served, a resisting case, and a DWI in 2020, all 3 in 2021, Judge. And then there is also an extensive history of unauthorized use of vehicle, assault causing bodily injury in 2020, burglary of vehicle in 2020, criminal trespass in 2020, and a failure to ID in 2019, Judge. And this will be a plea to the court, and that's why I'm reading out the history, Judge.
All right, thank you. Mr. Flores?
Yes, Judge, we're asking the court for time served as Mr. Garcia has stated to the court, Judge. Mr. Rios has been in custody for 23 days now, Judge. Mr. Rios does have special needs, Your Honor. I visited him a couple of times at the jail and I spoke with him, Judge. He is currently right now in a homeless situation, Your Honor. We're asking the court to consider giving him time served, Judge, and not keep him any longer, Your Honor. Due to the capacity of the county jail, Your Honor, right now, and I believe that they're still overpopulated, Your Honor. This is a misdemeanor offense, Your Honor. There's no victim per se, you know, in this case, Your Honor. And we're asking the court to just consider giving the time served the time he's been in custody, Judge.
All right, the court's going to go ahead and impose a 0 fine, 0 court cost, 23 days, credit for 23 days time served. That'll be the judgment of the court.
Thank you, Judge.
So, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I love you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Garcia, what is the citizenship that you were referring to? We're trying to locate that specific item on the judgment.
Let me see what page it's on, Judge.
That's for Mr. Rios, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes, Judge. I was advised by Mr. Heller that the citizenship box was not checked off by my client during the execution of the plea document, Your Honor. But he is a U.S. citizen, Your Honor, and the court did admonish him about citizenship. But
what page is that on?
On page 3.
Page 3.
It's within a bounding box.
Oh, it doesn't have his signature.
Yes, he didn't sign that. He didn't sign it.
He announced that he was a U.S. citizen on the record.
Yes, Judge.
We're good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Excuse.
You're excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the last inmate for us, Your Honor.
You're excused. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Two. In CR 21-03-583H, State of Texas versus Justin Anthony Harris. It is the judgment of the court that you're guilty as charged. Mr. Harris is asking to be placed on the pretrial diversion program. Mr. Harris, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris, first and foremost, next time we see each other, I want to see a regular shirt, not a muscle shirt. There's
Yes,
no
sir.
way in heck I would let you come into a courtroom with a muscle shirt. And this is court.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Now, having said all that, let me go through the admonishment of the pretrial diversion. The pretrial diversion, Mr. Harris, is a contract that you're entering into with the state of Texas, whereby you are agreeing to comply with certain conditions of the pretrial diversion program. And in exchange, the state is agreeing to dismiss the charges against you. Do you understand the terms and conditions of that contract that you signed off with Mr. Rogers, explaining it to you?
Yes, sir.
Is there any reason why you will not be successful on that pretrial diversion program?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rogers, is there any modification that we have to consider with respect to the pretrial diversion before placing him on that program?
Yes, Your Honor, just if we could waive condition number G or letter G. Mr. Harris has family in Harris County and he's going to be visiting, not regularly, but he may be having some trips out there and just to, if we could waive that condition, Your Honor. I spoke to the state about it prior to this hearing.
Judge, we would be opposed, but if the court were to do it, we would.
Judge, I spoke with Mr. Rogers beforehand. I didn't have any objections to that, Judge.
All right. I don't have any objection to that either. So we'll go ahead and waive condition G, allowing him to leave the county. I think it's reasonable that somebody over the course of a year would probably need to leave the county. And so for that reason, the court will go ahead and grant that request. The state did ask for a short reset just to monitor him, and the reset date for the reset will be April 26th. I think I had already given that date, but April 26th for the record. All right, and we do need a phone number for Mr. Harris.
Give it to you now.
Yes, please.
956-558-0344.
Thank you. Our intake department will be calling you in about 5 business days.
Okay.
All right. On April 26th, Mr. Harris, if we see each other in person or on Zoom, I need you to have a regular shirt on.
Yes, sir.
I'm not asking for a suit and tie, but I am asking for something with sleeves.
I understand. Yes, sir.
All right. You're excused along with Mr. Rogers.
Your Honor, can I remove the ankle monitor now?
AIP? Was he on AIP or what?
No, he had a scram device over the holidays, Your Honor. He tried to remove it last week when I told him we were getting into the program, and I jumped the gun on that, and I think he's going to be on the portable now.
Oh yeah, I have no problem with that. We'll do a swap order. Yeah. Okay. In CR 2110-119H and in CR 2110-118H, State of Texas versus Desiree Sepulveda, it is a judgment of the court that you're guilty as charged. What is the recommendation on both of these cases?
Judge, on CR 2110-119H, recommendation is a $250 fine, court costs, 180 days in jail, probated for 1 year, drug education class, and 20 community service hours. And in CR 2110-118H, it is a $250 fine, court cost, 180 days in jail, probated for 1 year, theft intervention classes, and 20 community service hours. And as part of the plea agreement, we will be dismissing CR 2113-361H.
Questions or requests on behalf of your client, Mr. Guetta?
Your Honor, we could just run one set of fees, Your Honor. She's a single mom. She's taking care of a 6-year-old child, and she just recently lost her job, Judge. And just to inform the court, Judge, she will possibly test dirty on her first test.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and waive the fine and the court cost on the theft of property case and just assess it on the POCS.
Thank you.
Because she's a parent to minor children, I'm going to waive the CSR hours.
Sure.
Ms. Sepulveda, you can see that I'm trying my very best to help you here, but to a certain extent, you need to help yourself. You have minor children, and for that reason, I'm considering waiving the CSR hours, but at the same time, you're still using drugs And so you're not helping yourself with your children, okay? So I feel like I'm doing more for your children than you're doing for yourself and your children. So just be mindful of that, okay? Because if we have any revocations going into the future, I'm gonna go back to this judgment and look at the fact that I waived at least, let me see, three, four, five, about $600 worth of fees.
Yes, sir.
And 40 hours of community service hours. That's a whole week of work. Okay. And that was just, I just wiped it away. All right.
I appreciate you so much, sir.
All right. I just need you to do the right things for your kids. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We do need a phone number.
956-595-3010.
Thank you. Our intake department will be calling you in about 5 business days.
All right. On the original, again, on the original case, the POCS, I'm going to give her 90 days to pay the fine and 90 days to pay the court costs. Okay. I waived it on the
Thank
second
you.
one, but on the first one, she'll
Yes,
have
sir.
90 days to pay the fine and court costs.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much, Judge. May we both be excused, Judge?
You both are excused. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
In CR 1913-142H, Joshua Ryan Shelton, it is a judgment of the court that you're guilty as charged. What is the recommendation?
Judge, the recommendation is a $250 fine, court costs, 365 days in Hidalgo County Jail, probated for 1 year, repeat offender program, 72 continuous hours in Hidalgo County Jail, 180-day driver license suspension, 6 months of mobile alcohol monitoring device, and MAD impact panel.
Questions or requests?
Did I hear any community service hours?
No.
Okay, well then, there's nothing to address there. Your Honor, my client's wife lives in Mexico. She's been deported, and so would ask for him to be able to travel into Rio Bravo to visit with his wife and his 2 minor kids.
How does that work, Victoria? Do I just waive condition 7, allowing him to leave the county?
Correct.
All right. I'll waive condition 7. What about the 72 hours? How would he like to do that? It has to be.
It has to be continuous, Judge.
Yeah, it has to be continuous, but I typically have to, I have to list it on the judgment so that we can send an order. Otherwise, they won't accept him right now at the jail. And he needs to comply with that. I don't have a problem, like if he wants to do it, and I'm gonna make a joke here, but if he wants to do it during the Super Bowl weekend, which I know he doesn't, nobody would. But if he wants to do it the week after, if he wants to do it 2 weeks after, if he wants to, I just have to have a date. And it has to be, I'm assuming the weekend, and I'm assuming he wants to do it. So I'll give him the authority. Right now I need to work on a judgment that gives me.
Josh, when can you turn yourself in for a weekend? Because we need to write in the dates.
Let's go 2 weeks from Friday. Is that okay?
That's the Super Bowl weekend though, isn't it?
Well, there might be less crazy people in there that weekend, Your Honor.
All right.
Friday the 11th?
The 11th through the 13th.
That's what I show, Your Honor. Not this Friday, but 2 weeks up to that would be the 11th to the 13th.
All right, so
Josh.
the 11th to 13th, that's what the judgment, the order is going to say.
You understand that, Josh, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, Josh.
Right, we do need a phone number from you, Mr. Shelton.
956-225-9095.
Our intake department will be calling you in about 5 business days.
Okay, I'll wait for the call.
All right, y'all are excused.
Your Honor, we have the pending NISI, and the other case, I think the state was going to make an announcement of dismissal.
The judgment I has been taken care of with this plea, but let me hear about the state making an announcement on the dismissal.
It would be number 25 on the docket, CR 21-09060H.
That is correct, Judge. That's part of the plea agreement to dismiss that case.
The court will go ahead and dismiss that case at the request of the district attorney's office.
Thank you, Your Honor. Y'all have a good day.
Likewise.
Thank you.
All right, that takes care of our docket. Court's going to log off.